Vasily Kandinsky was a Russian painter. He studied color. He felt that color was more than a visual component of the picture. He felt that color was its soul. He had once said that he could hear colors and see sounds, if you could believe that. So, to start the project where we are studying color, I would like you to take a rectangular piece of paper, fold it in half this way, match up the edges, press down, and then fold it again, match up the edges, and press down. And then lastly, I want you to fold it from top to the bottom. What we're doing is actually creating boxes within our canvas. Press down. So we're going to open that up. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 boxes. Now, what I like to do to enable you to see each box is we're going to trace over our creases. Now you can get a ruler if you want, but this is not that important. We are doing a study of color. Colors react to each other in different ways depending on which colors they are up against. And by studying color in this way, we can use this as a guide for our future artwork. So you will need 3 different sizes of tracing circles. Each one of these squares is going to have the big and the medium and the small. Now don't worry too much about being perfect with your tracing. When he did his artwork where he had studied color, squares with concentric circles is what it is called. He used watercolor and he used crayon. We are making our circles like his, concentric. Concentric circles, or circulos concentricos in Spanish, means that each one of our 3 circles shares a center point. So this is the middle of the small one and the medium one and the large one. Concentric circles. So I'm going to quickly do this. Now these circles aren't really the important part of this color study. It's the color. It's how the colors play up against each other and what you learn by doing them in different ways. A lot of Kandinsky's artwork was based off of the music that he listened to. He studied composers as well as other artists. And even though he was born in Moscow, Russia, he ended up moving to France like most painters do, and studied Monet and other famous artists. Now I'm just going to switch out my smallest circle for a different one, because that one has little bumps on it. And I'm going to use this white one. Now, it's not important that you trace these with a marker. I am doing it with a marker so that you can see the concentric circles. And again, concentric circles means that each one of these circles share a common center, a common middle point, like that dot right there. Now, you don't have to put dots in all of your circles. His very famous painting is called Squares, hence are squares, with concentric circles. And if you're not familiar with the painting, you should look it up. Even though he was just studying color, it ended up being one of his most famous pieces of artwork. Okay, so this is what we're starting with. Now, because we're studying color, I'm going to have you start with yellow, blue, and red. So what I'd like you to do, I have both markers and crayons. Okay, I'm going to use both. Kandinsky used watercolor and crayon when he did his. So you're going to pick any circle that you want and start by coloring 3 times with one color. So I started with blue. So now remember, we're studying color here. Now I'm going to do blue in the center ring or circle over here. Try to stay within your circles, even though this is a study. And then the last place, I think I'm going to make the largest circle over here blue. Okay, now then I'm going to move on to red and then yellow. And after I do that, I'm going to move on to my secondary colors. I want to see how my secondary colors look against the primary colors. So there's 3 blue. I'm going to put that down and I'm going to get red. And I'm going to do the same thing. 3 red. Do your best. Try to stay in the lines. And then I'm going to do this middle over here red, I think. Okay, and then after this, I'd go to yellow. And then I would start with my secondaries, orange, green, and purple. Okay, so I'm going to stop there, and I want to show you, I've already done a study, and I'd like to talk about it for a minute. So we have 2 yellow centers here. Here we have 2 different shades of purple. Okay, over here we have all the warm colors next to the yellow. Now, purple and yellow are opposites or complementary colors. So this becomes a very strong contrast how they play against each other. The purple makes the yellow pop, you'd say. Whereas over here, that starts to feel like a sun to me. Everything is just warm. Let's look for another comparison. Okay, over here, I know that red and green are opposites or complementary colors. Over here, where I have red, I have orange and pink. This looks much different than this group of concentric circles because of the complement of green that has been added. Okay, so you can choose different color groupings in each of your squares and see how the colors really play against each other and how they feel differently. I colored the background with crayon, and I thought that added another level of interest. So have fun with your color study. Thanks, Mr. Kandinsky.